And the city never sleeps. The magic in the air so deep. We chase the moments, make them last. The future mirrors all
Welcome to the Icons Edit. We have another amazing episode for you today. This is the podcast where we talk about everything iconic from the past and the present and the future, because today we're going to be talking about something that's happening soon as well, which leads us back to our specialist subject today, which is the iconic movie from 2006, The Devil Wears Prada. And to talk about it is my very good friend Julian. He's come back again. You loved it so much. You came back again.
You can't get enough of me.
You love me though, don't you?
I do.
And I love you. We just sit. You could just. We don't even need to be paid to do this. We could just sit here and chat all day
I'm
long.
not being paid.
No, we're not. Neither am I.
No, there we go.
We just went on a right way, like down a rabbit hole there. So Devil Wears Prada is our subject for today, and this is a much-loved movie. This is a movie that I feel for the early to mid-2000s kind of really transformed those glossy, glitzy fashion movies into something to aspire to.
It's my favourite chick flick of all time.
That's a big move.
It's a big move.
Yeah.
But it is, and I think that chick flicks have never been the same since.
You love this movie, like
I
this,
have seen
because
it.
that's massive praise.
No, I mean not just that movie, but I mean movies of that era. So like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Princess Diaries, Mean Girls, Cinderella Story. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah,
we like. It's never going to be the same. People like, there are new chick flicks that come out, but they're just not the same. They're not quotable. They're not memeable. They're not iconic. Like this podcast, you know? So,
yeah, no, that is exactly why we did this podcast, because
it is iconic.
I think that nostalgia is so, to me, I love nostalgia. I live in nostalgia, like, because everything was better back then. I don't see those iconic movies anymore, and those like those moments, those TV shows. I just don't see it, and I think you're right.
I feel like the last chick flick that we had that came out semi-recently, although it was like I think 8 years now, was actually Crazy Rich Asians. That's that for me.
I haven't seen that.
You've not seen that?
No.
For me, that was like the last one of its time that came out sort of semi-recently, but not that recently, that was like good. All of the other chick flicks after that, no. That's just my opinion, though.
I wonder what the missing element that's been lost along the way is. That maybe that's what we should start with. What made The Devil Wears Prada so special? The fact that people like you, who are big into popular culture, you use references from popular culture for all of your acting work and your scenes and your sketches. So what made this one so special?
It's the insight into the world of fashion. For me, it was my sort of introduction into that world. I grew up watching America's Next Top Model. Oh, so I've seen
that's
every
another whole
single
podcast
season.
that we're going to do.
Oh, that's another whole podcast.
One of my favorites.
I've seen, and there's been a lot of it's quite a hot topic now because all of the documentaries are coming out and exposing all of the scandals and everything. But that was my only sort of introduction into the world of fashion, which is really from a model's perspective.
Yeah.
Model, fashion, photography, but mainly from the model's perspective.
And
obviously.
It's a really great introduction into that world.
But The Devil Wears Prada was like stepping into Vogue. Even though it's not Vogue, it's Runway, but Runway's based off Vogue.
It's supposed to be Vogue.
And Miranda is supposed to be Anna Wintour. And so you, I think the first time I watched it, I was like 10, but like as like a child, teenager, young adult, I've seen this movie 50 times.
Oh, you love the movie.
It made me, I think why so many of us found it so interesting is that, we can only really, I think before that, you can sort of, if you haven't seen the movie, you can sort of understand the world of fashion-ish.
Yeah.
You can look at magazines, you can look at what you can buy in H&M and Zara and stuff. But really, for so many of us, we're really quite detached from that world of fashion.
This is actually so amazing because we haven't previously discussed this point.
No.
And so this is actually really clicking in my head now because I'm from the world of fashion. So this movie, while it was definitely heightened, I was very familiar with this world, and I'm very familiar with this world. I'm also older than you, so I wasn't quite so... It wasn't my introduction to it. So now I'm kind of understanding why a generation of millennials or whatever, I always forget the different titles, are much more in with this movie because it was sort of opened up a world to them that wasn't known before. Whereas for me, working in that industry for so long, it's kind of like, yeah, this is kind of normal, but definitely dramatized. I mean, it's definitely dramatized. However, remember when you showed me that clip of Anna Wintour? You remember we were having tea and
Yes.
we were like, you were telling me about it,
It was
and you
the
showed
73
me.
questions
Yeah,
Vogue.
and tell everybody who's listening, because it's so funny, because I was going to say it's overly dramatized. That's not at all what she would have been like. But actually, if you watch that clip, Miranda Priestley is quite heavily based on Anna Wintour.
They take the like a, what do you call it, like a rack of
clothing rack, yeah.
clothing rack, and it's all like black. And one of the assistants goes, Anna, hey Anna, what are your thoughts on the this collection I have here? And she goes, I don't know what the name is, I can't remember, but it was something like, Maria, where's the color? And Maria just leaves
with the rack of clothes just gone. Maria's
like, poor Maria, that poor woman.
But that's like what I love about The Devil Wears Prada, because I will say straight off the bat, Miranda Priestley was my favourite character by a long way, because the stoicism, the silent delivery, that's what Anna Wintour has. She doesn't need to go crazy or throw something or be insane. She just literally is, where's the colour? It's almost like Miranda's line of florals for spring. Groundbreaking. Like, it's like, yeah, because it's like so on the money, and I wish and hope that every fashion editor is exactly like that.
Meryl Streep
Perfect.
spoke about her characterization of Miranda Priestley in that she decided that she wanted to play this powerful, intimidating, influential businesswoman. And she actually took her inspiration from men that she's worked with. Particularly, I think the inspiration that she brought up in an interview was Clint Eastwood. She's like, she worked with Clint Eastwood, and he commanded so much authority that he barely did anything.
I studied this in acting class.
Okay, well, I want you to do that again, and then the blah, 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 blah. And Meryl said that everyone leaned in because, like, he was so quiet. And Miranda Priestley has that vibe of, she never yells, she never raises her voice, she doesn't lose her temper. If you watch Devil Wears Prada, Miranda barely does anything.
She's a woman that never really needs Botox, because she never expresses.
She doesn't really give any expression.
However, everything is being expressed in the expression.
But like, it's, you think to the introduction of Miranda Priestley when the elevator doors open and she walks in, you expect her to be this fashionista, do this for me and blah, 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 blah. And instead she goes, I don't understand why it's so difficult to confirm an appointment. You people have had hours and hours to prepare. It's just so confusing to me. And it's so like, could you imagine I was once spoken that way to when I worked a full-time job. It is soul crushing to be like, when somebody just goes, it's just so disappointing. And it's so
much more effective.
And it makes me go like, I want to die.
Yeah, that's it. And then when she says, I just don't understand where my coffee is. Has she died or
Has
something?
she died or something?
No, I actually feel like I say that in my everyday life frequently. Did they die? They just died. Because it's so appropriate sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, if like you're performing and no one's making any noise, and you're thinking quietly, did they die? Did they just stop living?
Yeah.
That's what she does, and it's so effective.
She
I wish
commands
that I could.
authority by doing very little.
And I love that you mentioned the Clint Eastwood, because in my acting class years ago, we actually studied a Clint Eastwood movie opener. I can't remember. My dad loves his movies, so he would know. And we watched him, and my teacher was saying, "This is why he is one of the greatest actors of all time. Mm-hmm. Look what he does." And it was frame by frame. And as an actor, I think if learning the art of on-camera acting, we've gone off on a tangent, and that's fine. This is what this is all about. And we've talked about this too in our personal lives, is when you're on stage. Remember you talked about when you were doing your movie recently versus being on stage. Mm-hmm. Stage is big. Shout, really project, and big movements. You have to, because how are you going to convey what you're doing?
Yeah.
On camera, tiny, small movements, little, really. And it's such a different skill that it's, when you do both disciplines, you really have to flip between them.
I did my first feature-length film last year.
Yeah, we talked about it.
I was like working alongside a very, very like well-known, prestigious actress. And I was just like observing her. And it was all like, you know, like she's like supposed to be listening in as a character. And I'm thinking she's like listening in like that, looks over, and it's literally all in the eyes. It's just like
Tiny.
looks that way. Doesn't even move her head, just moves her eyes. And I'm like, that's probably all you need to do because the screen captures so much
It
already.
really does. It's that's a great point. I love that we've gone into that because it really is the essence of Miranda's character in this
And not
movie.
just Miranda, Meryl Streep's performance. I mean, again, I don't want to go off another tangent, but
No,
like
let's go on
Meryl Streep makes Devil Wears Prada. I'm sorry, she does. And so does Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt. But in terms of
there is no way that movie would have been the same movie
if
without
it was played
Meryl
by
Streep.
anybody else, absolutely.
And that is probably why most people. I know that you love Meryl Streep.
I love
you?
Meryl Streep. And just to go back to like, you know, how this, you know, what this movie means to me and how much it means to me, and particularly my community, the gay community, LGBTQ plus, you know, the cerulean monologue has been performed by so many drag queens, and like it's been lip synced to. I know it off by heart. I'm not going to recite it, but like the fact that it's so much a part of queer culture because it's Miranda Priestley is an effortlessly. Like, she is a boss.
Yeah, she's a boss.
And gay men look up to powerful women, you know? So just the way she just holds herself up, the posture, the poise, the minimal expression, it's just so fabulous if you think about it.
She explains that point so well. Because the cerulean sweater has become probably the most iconic scene from that movie because it's not about a cerulean sweater. Is what's so funny about the scene. It's really not at all. It's about the industry. I read somewhere that it said it starts about a sweater and becomes a TED talk on capitalism. You know,
100%.
Yeah, it's very, very clever.
So when I first watched this movie when I was a child, I was like 10 years old, 11, 12. I was very much on Andy's side, and I thought Miranda was the villain.
I think when I first watched it, I was exactly the same.
Yeah, because they make it out, and I'm just like, oh, she's being so nitpicky and she's being so like, ugh. Now, as a 30-year-old man, how dare Andy scoff when she goes, it's her first day of work. Oh, it's a tough call. They're both so different. And Andy goes,
yeah,
I'm like, how dare you? Looking back now, I'm like, no. Miranda was 100% right in that scene.
I agree completely.
100% right. And it's like you said, it's this big TED talk. It's this very, very interesting social commentary. She does take herself too seriously to care about what she puts on her back is literally what she says in the monologue. But actually, if you look at the monologue, at the end of the monologue, she goes, "You're wearing a sweater that was selected for you by the people in this room." How powerful is that?
It's incredibly powerful because it's also true.
So true.
And that this also ties back into this character journey of Andy. When we were younger and we watched this, I would say most people were rooting for Andy in this movie, as in she's the the protagonist here, and we love her and this. But when I've got older and watched it, 100% agree. You're like, why are you so entitled? And you're quite arrogant in your, I'm so clever and smart, I don't need fashion. I'm going to wear these daggy clothes. Well, that's an Australian one.
Who is it? Stanley Tucci's character, Nigel, goes, I'm guessing an 8.5, giving her heels to wear because she's wearing hideous
and
shoes.
designer shoes. And someone proffers a pair of Jimmy shoes to you.
And Andy goes, I don't need these. Miranda hired me. She knows what I look like. And Nigel goes, do you?
So good.
And also, like, I think that the sobering monologue in this whole movie is actually Nigel's monologue that he gives to Andy when Andy goes, like, she hates me. And she runs off crying. And she's just like, if I do something right, it goes unacknowledged. She doesn't even say thank you. But if I do something wrong, she is vicious. And Nigel just goes, so quit.
Yeah.
I can get you a girl to do this job in 5 minutes, one that really wants it. And she goes, I don't want to quit. That's not fair.
She just wants sympathy.
She just wants sympathy. But I mean, I could recite the whole thing, but I'm not going to. But the main thing is that Nigel in that moment, he's so honest and he tells he tells it like it is.
Yeah.
And he's going, wake up. Like, this is an industry, a multi-billion-dollar industry. We all work our asses off, and you're not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
You know?
And I like that switch with his character, because it could have very easily been that he was like her gal pal, you know, who can be Andy's shoulder to cry on. In actual fact, no, in that very moment, he separates himself entirely from that. It's like, yes, I'm a great guy. I'll be, you know, your touchstone of kind of reality, and I can be nice to you. But I'm going to tell you how it is about yourself, that this isn't going to work for us. And I think in that moment, she's then respects him on a different level of like, actually, no, this guy, this is his whole life. It's his career. And he's explaining in a different way what Miranda was also explaining, but in a more palatable way for her to understand.
And in that moment, she knows what she needs to do. She's like, okay, so I'm messing it up. And he goes, yeah. She goes, well, I don't want to. I just wish there was something that I could do. And then she gets hit with the idea of
the makeover.
The makeover. Like, if I make an effort, maybe I'll be more appreciated.
Yes.
And Stanley Tucci's character Nigel then goes, all right, like let's see what we can do. And it's that glorious moment
The dream of
when she
that.
walks into like...
My heart races as a girl who's obsessed with that kind of thing. It's like Carrie when she walks into the closet in Vogue, you know, when she's and she gets to, and you do know what these are? The Manolo Blahnik. It's the same feeling.
This is a perfect time now to then talk about the fashion, because I know how much of a fashion guru you are. I have so many looks of this movie that I just love.
I think the fashion is such an important part, and one of the reasons it resonates with me is because my lovely dear Pat Field was the costume designer for this movie.
Right.
So, like, of course we can talk about this all day, but Pat was nominated for an Oscar for this as well. So
was she? Yes, she was.
She was nominated for an Oscar
I do remember that,
for The Devil Wears Prada as costume designer. Of course, she did Sex and the City, if you didn't know, and she did Ugly Betty, and a million other things too. But those are the popular culture TV shows that you might know. So she was Devil Wears Prada. She didn't do the next one. We'll talk about that later. So Molly, who was her assistant, is doing has done the next Devil Wears Prada. But it's all Pat Field, so we've got that signature Pat going on. So of course there's a lot to talk about. Do you want to dive in with your favourite outfit?
I do love, in terms of the, you know, everyone knows the Andy montage where she's crossing the street
fabulous.
to Vogue by Madonna. Look around. And actually, if you ever feel in the mood and you're in New York and you're just wanting to listen to music while you cross the street and to get to your next destination.
That's a good one.
Put Vogue by Madonna in your ears as you're crossing the street in Manhattan, and you just feel so fabulous because you feel like Andy. Turning your head, looking over, wearing the glasses.
I mean, the glow up is real. The glow up on Andy is real.
And those transitions of like the car passes and it's a different outfit.
And
it's
like the hair's so
fabulous.
glossy, and like you say, they glowed her down to play that. Obviously, she has that lustrous hair and those big full lips naturally, and she was only 22.
I know, she was so young.
Jumping ahead, I saw an interview with her, and I had to Google it because I was like, she's talking like a fresh faced girl from Bumpkin County, you know, like she was like, they were like, what did you keep from the show? And she's like, well, you know, I kept this, and she got really gets really excited. And I was like, how old is this girl? Googled it. I was like, 22. Okay.
So was Emily Blunt, I think.
And then when you look at it, you're like, yes, I can see that now. And because they haven't really aged. Both those actresses don't look any bloody
they
different.
Look gorgeous.
But Miranda, in that moment, I have to tell you, they ask Meryl Streep, so what did you keep from the wardrobe? And this is what she does. It's genius. She looks at the guy who's interviewing and she says, I make multi-million-dollar movies every year. I don't need to steal from the wardrobe department of The Devil Wears Prada. And she's not even being Miranda at that moment. She's being Meryl.
I know.
And whereas the two young girls were like, well, Emily's like, well, I had to wrestle this scarf from Pat Fields. I had to have it, you know, like they're because they're so excited because they're 22. And Meryl was about 40s, 50s when she shot that 50s.
I think, yeah.
And she's saying, well, I'm one of the biggest actors in the world. What are you asking me, you fool, you know?
I think in terms of Andy's outfits in that montage scene, my favorite, I think, is the last outfit that she wears in the montage scene. And it's the moment where I think Miranda Priestley recognizes, and she's on the phone with someone and she looks at her, looks down and goes,
Describe the outfit for us.
She's wearing boots. I don't know if
She
they're
wore a lot of boots.
I don't know if they're the Chanel boots that's been so memed.
Oh, the Chanel boots are the glow up. The first scene when she comes in with Chanel, the very first scene we see her in the glow up.
Flings her hair. I've recreated that scene on social media, by the way.
That
Flings
is
her hair.
That is Chanel. So Chanel jacket, that tweed jacket, which sells for like $13,000 now, and then those thigh-high boots.
I think what's so funny about that scene is it feels really high school. Emily is just like, no, her friend who's played by, I think, is it Giselle?
Giselle. It was Giselle Bundchen.
Who goes, she held up the shoe and wear her eyelash curler and said, "What is this?" And they're all laughing. It's very high school bully.
Right.
And it's like, from the moment I saw her, she's going to be a complete and utter disaster. Looks, she enters in, flicks her hair and walks, and Emily Blunt just go, "How did you... Are you wearing the
Chanel boots?"
And then Andy goes, the Chanel boots. Yeah, I am. And then Giselle goes, "You look good." And Emily goes, "Shut up, Serena." Shut up. It's so high school, but it's just
so
like,
high school, and
I love that
it's
scene.
great, and we all love a makeover. Think about all the movies that have been centered around the storyline of the ugly duckling who then transforms into the.
I mean,
swan.
Anne Hathaway did it in Princess Diaries.
Right.
She had to have a makeover because she was the Princess of Genovia.
Was that before or after?
That was before.
Okay, so it's a tale as old as time that we
That's
love to watch.
Yeah, that's a trope.
It's a trope that we love to watch, and
Yeah.
it works. And I think I was just relieved because I couldn't stand looking at her in those goddamn awful clothes that she was in for
But
the
I mean,
first.
like, that trope goes way back. It's not just a thing of the early 2000s. That goes way back to, like, Eliza Doolittle or, My Fair Lady.
It's a well-used trope,
yeah.
and we
The
love
ugly
it.
duckling to the swan.
We're always suckered into it. We love it because we do want to see that transformation, because we don't want to see the dowdy kind of, I don't care about this. We do want to see, that's just life. Like, we are materialistic in that sense, in that we do want to see somebody looking their best and living their best
and how
life.
it makes them feel, and also not just that, but the confidence. Somebody, you think about Queer Eye, Queer Eye for Straight Guy, the new reboot Queer Eye. When they go through their transformation, they feel and look so much more confident.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. It's being able to, like, you're fabulous. Work it,
That's why I've always loved my job.
Yeah.
For years working as a personal stylist, was you see people grow and change and transform just by you saying, and I'm a tough love kind of a person. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why are you wearing this? Get this out of your closet.
I like that, though. It's cutthroat is the best. Being
you have to
brutal
be,
like that.
Not everyone can take it. Not everybody can take being
That's true.
told that's not your best look. But let me tell you what is. But if you are open to having someone tell you, and you sort of take that on board, and then you can work with your own style within those realms.
So with the montage of Andy's clothes, what's your favourite outfit?
Well, I do love the Chanel. So I know that when Pat was interviewed about the movie, she said that she realised very quickly that Chanel was the way to go for Andy. So you will see quite a lot of Chanel pieces in her glow up. The tweed caps, the big chunky necklaces, the pearl necklaces, all Chanel. I did love that initial one. So much so that last night I was hunting for those Chanel boots.
You want to get them.
Look, I'm an archival fashion collector, and I'm also a beast when it comes to collecting. If I want something, I will find it.
You will.
Chanel ones are to die for from 2005, so they're on the list. So I do love that one. I love another one that's very classically Chanel. It wasn't all Chanel, but do you remember the one where she goes to take the book to the apartment, and she's wearing a white shirt underneath a scoop neck black top?
I know
she
exactly.
has the Chanel
That's the
pearl.
second time that she... That's the one where she's wearing
with
the
cap.
newsboy
She's
cap.
got the Chanel tweed cap on it. And I think she's wearing a David Rodriguez sweater, and then she's wearing a Miu Miu blouse, and then she's got the Chanel necklace and the Chanel cap. I really like that.
Yeah.
It's very Parisian.
2006, 2007,
Yeah.
if you think about it.
And it's very Parisian, but it's also very, I'm wearing Chanel and I want you to know it. Like, it's obvious. It's the C's are here on the necklace. I actually own that necklace. I was going to wear it today, but it didn't go with my managed tailored suit. So I was like, another time. But I remember seeing that in the movie and thinking, I need to get that necklace. It's just so iconic.
I think that my favourite Miranda outfit is actually... I mean, I like all of them. Let's just say... I'm just going to say
think
this.
her outfits across the board were great.
I like all outfits in this movie. I do not hate a single one. There's one outfit that Miranda wears, and it's actually towards the end of the movie when Andy has to make that really difficult decision of telling Emily that she's not going to Paris. And she's expecting that, actually, it's before that. Andy's expecting that Miranda will tell her. And Miranda comes in wearing these beautiful clothes. She takes off her jacket. She looks at Andy, and instead of putting it on her desk,
she throws it
onto Emily's desk because she's being promoted. And that's like a symbolic of
very sign of like, she's out, you're in.
She's out, you're in.
Yeah.
And she comes, and, you know, Anne Hathaway's like, oh, gosh. She comes back in, and Miranda goes, Andrea, don't forget to tell Emily.
Yeah.
And what Miranda is wearing in this scene is animal print. I don't know what specific kind of animal print, but leopard print, I'm thinking, or like tiger print or something like that.
I'm trying to think back on it.
And she's wearing animal print. And I remember doing research on that scene and watching it on YouTube, and somebody in the YouTube comments pointed out that it is really symbolic of like a lioness letting her little cubs go in for the kill.
It's a little bit like we talked about with Samantha, like when we talked last time about the use of leopard print and that kind of like
animalistic,
feral, feline kind of prints that sort of imply power and imply.
And it's just like, now it's your turn to go in for the kill. Right. I'm giving you permission. You're the little cub now. You go in for the kill, because she has to do something that's really awful. So I do love, and we spoke about this last time, how so much of the clothing that I think this is very much a Pat Fields thing.
Yeah.
Tells you so much about their character.
It's very Pat, and it's why she is and will always be one of the best, if not the best, costume designers in the world.
That's why I love costume design for that reason, and how much it tells you about
she
character.
Actually has achieved so much in her life because of her passion for it and understanding the script. So she looks at the script. She looks at what she thinks the characters will be, but then what she does is she speaks to all of those characters and gets the actors themselves and really gets to know them. And then she works with the realms of what that actor is comfortable with and what that actor can do, because she acknowledges, and I love this, that they're actors, they're not models. So you cannot put them in just anything and just expect them to feel comfortable. True. They've got to be able to move. They've got to feel like the character, and they've got to... She works with people to establish that. So she spoke to Meryl right from the bat, like right off the bat, and decided that for Meryl, she was going to go a certain way. Prada, of course. She wears Prada frequently throughout the movie. It would be stupid if she didn't. But she also wears loads of archival Donna Karan because she felt that was sort of very pared down, simple tailoring. Because the character is so strong. Even though she's quite simple in her delivery, she's so strong that she never wanted her outfits to overpower that character. Some characters need the bigger, bolder outfits because the character itself isn't strong enough to carry it. But Meryl doesn't need that.
I mean, just like looking at Miranda Priestley's entrance when her driver pulls up, the door opens, and the first thing that you see is the gorgeous shoe that she's wearing, the heel, and the heel lands onto the floor.
Very deliberate movements.
And
everything's
it looks
elegant.
like such a beautiful heel. And then as she's walking to the building, you see a zoom in of the handbag, which is Prada.
That Prada
bag.
I've been looking for that one recently
Have
as well.
you?
Yeah, that's hard to find because of that movie. Anything associated with a film, a movie or a TV show from that era, very hard to find now because everybody wants them. That bag still goes for a couple of thousand, and it's 20 years old now. Prada 2005, 2006. That bag is so... I loved that iconic... It was actually an archival Prada stamp that was on those bags.
I do like, in terms of, we actually haven't spoken about Emily, but before we do, let's speak about what our favourite Emily outfits are. I do love Emily's outfit that she wears with Giselle, and then that scene that we were just talking about, the high school scene.
I think she's wearing, not Westwood, I think she might be wearing Gautier in that scene. I'd have to check, but I can picture it.
It's like, it's polka dotted, but it's not like big polka dots. It's like they're small dots.
This one's Emily.
Yeah,
because Andy wears a polka dot one that I really don't like.
It comes down to like here. Very 2006. That kind of collar that comes all the way down here.
The fashion was definitely I actually feel like the fashion was very classic, but the accessories were very 2006. The accessories are actually what date this movie. The bags, the belts, lots of wide belts. There was so much of that going on.
Yeah. Speaking again on Emily's appearance, I love how she's pretty much the only character that wears a lot of bold eyeshadow.
Oh my God, I wrote this down. The green
eyeshadow and blue. In one scene she wears blue, but the green eyeshadow that
with
she
the red
wears,
hair. What a combination. She just looks like the perfect Irish
But I just
dream.
love it's just so like fashionista.
And it's a heavy, thick, metallic green as well. It's not just a little hint.
But it's a beautiful, like, again, you think back to the costume design and the makeup and the hair. It's so what a woman, a 22-year-old woman working in that industry who belongs in that industry, who really, really tries. She is like just with that. And because her character's quite cutting, right?
I mean, she's so cutting.
She's really cutting.
And I love it because British people are quite cutting and we can do it so well.
So I did research on how Emily Blunt got into the character. And apparently there had been several people that wanted to play this character of Emily, and they were all American, and they just weren't hitting the right notes, and they didn't think that that the character was really coming through. And Emily Blunt got a call from her agent to come and audition. And the way she described it in this interview, Emily Blunt saying, I was really inspired by Basil Fawlty in Fawlty Towers.
Oh, God.
Did
you watch Fawlty Towers?
Yes, I know Fawlty Towers. So if Americans out there that don't know, go and watch what Fawlty Towers is. Yeah, probably
they won't, but you should.
But it's John Cleese, who's British, in this British show. That's and, you know, Emily's line is, you know, one of her lines is, oh, I'm sorry, do you have some sort of prior commitment? Some hideous skirt convention you have to go to?
That's what I was about to say, some hideous skirt convention.
But it's just very like, oh, I'm sorry. Very like British, like the driest British sarcasm you can think of is just like, yes, what? Like, just...
It's so sarcastic.
It's so dry and it's so mean, but it's just also very, like, Emily said, I wanted to do something totally different, and I went with the John Cleese and Basil Fawlty, and they loved it so much that they were like, oh, this is hilarious.
It really works.
And it works so well for the character.
And it's funny because you don't hate her. You should, kind of, because
you think she's funny.
You think she's funny, and you shouldn't really like Emily, but everybody kind of does.
I think maybe the first time I watched her, I thought she was annoying, but now I love her.
I love her now. I think in retrospect, she's a great character, and the comedy. If you are someone who appreciates British sense of humour, then yes. If you're not, you won't like her at all, because it's all rooted in complete sarcasm and just that really sort of.
And what I love about her character is again the progression. As Andy progresses throughout the movie, she gets better at her job. And when she gets better at her job, she actually starts earning the respect of her colleagues. Most notably, Nigel, Miranda, and Emily. But Emily starts becoming nice to her. You know, like, she's still got that sarcastic wit about her and that sort of sarcastic cutting tension. But, you know, like, I think it's the first time they meet each other at the what is it called? The benefit, the banquet. But it's supposed to be like the Met Gala. And she goes, Andy, you look so chic. And Andy goes, thank you. You look so thin. And she goes, do I? And it's like all of a sudden she earns her respect because she's given her a compliment.
On that note, I will say she was insanely skinny in that movie.
Which one? Both
Emily especially. Yeah. There's a side angle that you catch of her, and she was teeny. And given that the camera truly does add 10 pounds, and it does, anyone who says that's not true, it does add. It makes people look bigger. She must have been tiny in real life at that point when that was filmed, because she needed to be for that movie. And then the whole idea that Anne Hathaway was a 6 and Nigel's like, yeah, that's equivalent to a 14. You know, like
they do talk. I mean, like they
talk about
the negative, like the negative impacts of fashion and body dysmorphia and all of that stuff. Like the fact that in that scene that I was just talking about, where Andy compliments Emily and Emily says, "Oh, it's this new diet I'm trying. Well, I don't eat anything, and then when I feel like I'm about to faint, I eat a cube of cheese." And I'm like, that's little bit eating disorder-esque.
That's probably the thing that people criticize about the movie now, and this idea they don't age well, is the size was very. You constantly heard about. I'm a 4. Emma, Andy. He says here's to the 6s, and she's like a 4, and it's like an achievement.
And he goes, congrats to you.
He's Stanley too. She's perfect for that character.
And do you know who auditioned for that character? Who didn't get it? Graham Norton. He says it on his show.
Shut up.
Graham Norton auditioned for the character of Nigel in Stanley, in Devil Wears Prada, and Stanley Tucci got it.
Wait, blow my mind. Graham Norton is an actor?
Yes.
Why did you say that? Like maybe it's not true.
Well, he has been in stuff before.
Oh, okay, for anyone who doesn't know who Graham Norton is, Norton.
No, everyone does.
Really?
Yeah, Graham Norton show. So many celebrities go on that.
In America, do people know that?
Yes.
Okay, but just in case, he is an Irish comedian, TV host, and apparently actor, which I did not know. Very much loved, has interviewed pretty much every major.
But Stanley Tucci came on the show, and he's like, so you must have been really happy to get that role. And Stanley Tucci's like, you auditioned for the role, didn't you? And he's like, yes, I did. I did.
Now you see, you see, Graham Norton is the opposite of Miranda Priestley, whereas she is quiet and still. Graham Norton is extremely animated.
I just like Stanley Tucci and Meryl Streep have actually worked a lot together.
Yeah,
and
it wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked with anybody else, and they bounce off each other very well. And particularly Stanley Tucci, who in this role, I don't actually think his sexuality is specified, whether he's gay or not.
I 100% was about to say that to you as well. And that's why I mentioned what I said earlier about this idea that she's trying to position, Andy's trying to position him as that gal pal gay kind of character. But actually,
I don't know
doesn't
if
read
he's
that way.
Very artistic Stanley Tucci in this movie, and he's like, I mean, he does seem
he's
a little
quite
bit
femme
more
at times.
yeah.
But no, I agree with you. I don't think we get a definite read on that at all, and I think that's why it wouldn't have worked with Graham Norton. So let's talk about Meryl Streep, whose delivery is very British in this. Like, even though she's American, I watch it and think she's British. I know that sounds weird to say, but
she says Andrea. She doesn't say Andrea, which is the American pronunciation of that word. She goes,
definitely.
Andrea.
Do you think that she made her more British because of the Anna Wintour connection?
Yes, I think so.
I think that was where they kind of were like, she was like, I want it to be that, I am nodding to that without hitting you over the head with it.
But it's also not just that, but it's her extensive vocabulary that is so, it seems academic. And I'm not saying that British people are more academic than Americans aren't, but just the plethora of the English language that is used, the words that Meryl, I mean, like, I'm trying to think of an example, but like, she's like, well, only when the second assistant hasn't become an incubus of the viral plague. Like, her use of vocabulary seems really...
By all means, move at a more
class.
Glacial pace.
You know how that thrills me.
That's just, I feel like that is me in my everyday life. Everyone's moving at a glacial pace. Like, hurry the fuck up.
I did think in that moment she was being a real bitch.
She was.
She's doing this, and then 2 seconds later she doesn't have it, and she goes, by all means, move at a glacial pace.
But I'm like that in life, though. I want people to move fast, and no one moves fast.
I'm extremely impatient, so I get that as
That's why we're such good friends, because we get it. We get it.
Yes,
we understand the need to be.
And I like it when we walk, we are going somewhere.
We're always like, come on, let's move fast.
Let's move
What
fast.
is with people that just want to like mooch around and just, don't they have anywhere to be?
If I want to mooch around, I'll go on holiday.
Where Miranda, I get it, because she's just like, I expected it yesterday. Where is it? Where's the coffee? Did you die?
Yeah.
She just went, no, she went to Starbucks, and in New York there's a line down the street as usual. So like, here you wait in lines all the time for everything.
Yes. And I do like that there's the scene as well where like they're pushing the run through, and
there's just like no time has elapsed.
But they're all on their lunch break, and they're about to, and I think Emily says that like, I get 20 minutes for lunch and you get 15. When I come back, you can go. And so 15 minutes for lunch, that's nothing. So she's about to eat food. She's standing in the line.
Whatever that might be.
Chowder, which Stanley Tucci's character is like giving her shit for. And then he gets a call and he goes, right, takes the chowder, throws it in the trash, and then goes, she's pushed the run through up until today at 12, and she's always half an hour early, which means you're already late. So, and Miranda's already on the move. Like, she doesn't wait for no one. She doesn't wait for no one. People just have to orbit around her.
That's the kind of power you only dream of having in life.
Talk about this idea of sense of self, which I thought about on my way here, in terms of Andy's character and Miranda's character, because whilst, and I did get this from YouTube as well, somebody was pulling this apart, Emily wouldn't dream of ever talking back to Miranda. She goes, oh yeah, I tried to ask her, and Emily goes, you may never ask Miranda anything.
Really toes the line.
She would never, ever answer back or talk back to Miranda or give her... But that's because she doesn't have, and I think that's part of the reason why she didn't get to go to Paris. She doesn't have a sense of self. Miranda Priestley says at the end of the movie, I see a great deal of myself in you, to Andrea.
Right.
So, and it's because Andy, whilst she doesn't have the appreciation for fashion at the beginning of the movie, she slowly develops it. She, you know, in her interview, she turns around and goes, you know what? You're right. I don't fit in here. I am not skinny or glamorous, and I don't know that much about fashion, but I'm smart. I learn fast and I will work very hard. Emily would never have said that to Miranda.
No, she wouldn't. And
it's Andy actually proving that she has a bit of grit to her, that I think that's the reason why she got the job, was Miranda's going, okay, all right. And I think she appreciated that at the time.
Doesn't she? Yeah, I decided her the smart fat girl. You know, it's just like,
take a chance.
Take a chance on the fat. Take a chance on the fatty. You know, like you're like. But that's a good question, actually. Do you think that in this, I hate using this word because people go mad about this, but in the woke society that we're kind of living in now, you know, the struggles with, you know, what you can say and can't say. Yeah. Do you think that would be in a movie now, that she would be allowed to say, oh, hire the smart fat girl? I just don't think it would. I think it'd get like edges to be like...
I mean, I think I'm very much for like, it's the world of fashion. It's, you get that like, unfortunately, that was what the world was like back then. So I don't have an issue with it. I think now we do have to be really careful with the language that we use.
But do you think they would have that? Do you think that a lot of the things that were in the original movie will appear same sort of things in the new movie or not? Because I think things have changed dramatically with what you can say, even in the name of comedy.
I honestly, I don't know. That's my answer to that. My answer to that is I don't know. But from what I've seen of the trailer, I am... of the trailer to the second movie, because we haven't seen the second movie yet. We're very excited. It comes out very, very soon. You look at the trailer and I'm like, Miranda's all of a sudden nice. Like, I feel like she's nicer than she was.
I hope that's not though I do love the notion.
But I think maybe that's because these two women aren't young girls anymore. They're not 22.
Maybe,
They're
but I also
older.
do love that they start it off with,
Who are you? Because she's had so many Emilys.
Right. And then she's like, yes, of course I know her. We were at Runway at the same time. And she's like, oh, where was I? And it's so good because she clearly must remember her. Like, no one just doesn't remember. Actually, that being said, I frequently don't remember people. So actually, maybe she genuinely doesn't. We'll see when we watch the new movie.
Maybe she has dementia. I think
that would be a real flip.
I think that she might die. I'm just saying that.
Well, I bloody hope not.
No one's told me. I hope not too. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm so wrong. But there was a funeral scene that like all these New Yorkers were like...
I'm sorry, but if that happens when we go watch it, I'm walking out. Because that's not... You can't kill off the main character.
It could be that she has dementia and that she dies from like Alzheimer's or something. I don't know.
Or
I really hope that's not the case.
Or she's just a real sarcastic bitch who likes to pretend that she doesn't recognise this person, but she really does.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, 20 years has passed. 20 years. Think about that. That's a huge... I mean, it scares me the fact that there has been 20 years between those two movies to actually think about. That's a huge amount of time that's elapsed. And they have got to somehow think, well, how would it be in the fashion industry 20 years? Would you remember a girl that worked for you for 6 months? maybe not.
Was it 6 months or was it a full year? I don't know.
She definitely says when she's being interviewed for the new job, the guy says, "But you didn't even do a full year there." And she says, "Yeah, you know." So there was a lot.
So she did. It was under a year. Yeah.
Yeah, under a year. We don't know exactly how long it lasted, but it was a reasonably short period of time. So yeah, maybe she doesn't recognize her.
Something I do love that scene that I was just talking about in the car of the, I see a great deal of myself in you, and, Andy goes, I don't think I'm like that at all.
Well,
and again, that's another thing of her challenging Miranda, going,
Right.
I don't think I'm like you. She goes, I couldn't do what you did to Nigel.
And then she points out the
And then
dichotomy
Miranda
of that.
goes, you already did. You did that to Emily.
Yeah.
You chose to get ahead, which is so true. It is so, so true.
It
and
is
she goes,
true.
you want this life? You want these choices? Those decisions are necessary. And then Andy goes, well, what if I don't want to live the way you live? And apparently, according to Meryl Streep, the original line was, everybody wants to be me. And Meryl Streep looked at the script and she asked the director and the writer if she could change it to, oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants to be us.
Us.
Because that brings her in.
More inclusive.
And Andy going, I don't even know if I want to be us. I don't even know if I want to be me.
That's the moment where she kind of goes, I don't.
She goes,
makes
fuck
that.
it.
Yeah.
And she throws and I love the scene, and I will say it. I remember watching it earlier, like when I was 15, 16 years old. And just this idea of Miranda heading into the crowd, opening the door, and is just like, loves all the fame and the success and the paparazzi that are around her, that are encircling her. And she's in the middle of it, realizing that Andy hasn't followed her.
Right. She's not there, not behind her.
And it's just, even that, I think there's a wide shot where you do see it, and she's just this little jewel in the midst of all of these flashing cameras.
Which is her life. That's her life every day.
And she realizes that, and then she turns away, goes back in, gets a call on her phone, and then that's when Andy throws the phone into the fountain. It's such a good
It's
scene.
a good scene. I have to say, totally critical. I'm sure people hate this opinion. I didn't like that dress, the final scene dress.
I don't know if I remember it.
It's black. It's, I think it was fall 2004 Louis Vuitton. I'm not going to, there's nothing specific about the dress, just for that moment. But yeah, she walks away and she decides. Now, let's circle back, because I've seen a lot of criticism about the Nate character. And I think this might come back to what we were talking about earlier, how when you first watched it when you were younger, you were all pro Andy and this and this. And then maybe as an adult and being older, you look at it and go, he was just this guy that couldn't stand to have his woman being successful and really kind of made her feel stupid about having a career. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with the general consensus of that. Like, Nate is a bit of a nothing character, and I'm kind of glad that he's not going to be in the
Oh, is he not? He's not in it.
No, he's not
so
in
we
the
assume
sequel.
that just ended.
Yeah, and it should have, because the thing is, he was not, this was her job. This was her career. Like, this is something that, she felt was important to do. And she was, it was the next step, even though, regardless of the fact that this wasn't what she wanted to pursue, it was part of her career, and it was a way to get her to the next part of her career or whatever.
Right.
And he just didn't respect that. Oh, show some integrity or whatever he says in that scene where they have the big fight. Fuck
I think it's
off,
I think it's a classic thing, isn't it? That a man has been used to this woman who's, fitted in this little niche, this little box.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's glamorous and she's going out and she's schmoozing with people and she's doing all these things that are not within his reach.
Yeah.
And he's threatened by that, and then kind of tries to keep her down a little bit. And I can see that now.
The scene that I'm a little bit more empathetic towards Nate, if anything, is the scene when it's his birthday. And
Yeah,
it's
no,
just,
I agree
there's
with
no
that.
easy way out.
I'm watching that and I'm thinking, Andy, you got to go. Like,
You
I'm
gotta
literally,
go.
I'm
You gotta
thinking
go.
you got to go.
It's his birthday. Come on, you've got to. And the fact that, she arrives and the party's finished and there's nobody there, and it's just Nate watching TV, and he's hurt.
Yeah, he's got it. I mean, you
hurt.
would be.
I would be as well. So I think that was a really good plot point of, the stakes are high on both. both characters have, you understand both of them.
And I think that's important because I think no.
And she did try. She did really, really try to get to leave.
Right.
And she wanted, and, you know, she's there and, you know, Emily goes, stop fidgeting. You have to be here.
Yeah.
Like, just shut up.
Just
you know,
be here in that moment.
Be here. Like, come on, you have to be, this is work. You've got to be here.
Right. And then we have to talk about the fact that my future husband is in this movie as well. Do you know who that is?
Yes, the guy from The Mentalist.
Sorry,
I don't even know.
He knows how much.
Christian Thompson is the character.
He knows how much my love for Simon Baker is real and forever. Oh my God. I mean,
is he really that good looking though? I mean, come on. He's got a nice body. I'll give you that.
Oh my God, the face of Simon Baker and his hair and
he does have nice hair.
So he's at the top of my laminated list.
I never found him attractive, but maybe I found Nate more attractive. Even though
who's at the top of your laminated list then? Your Ross Geller laminated list? Your list of 5 freebies that you can sleep with without consequence? Because Simon Baker has always been at the top of mine. Always. Do you have a laminated list?
I'm too shy to say.
Say it right now.
No, I don't know because it always changes.
Well, okay, because if you don't think Simon Baker's pretty, I want to know who's at the top of your list.
You probably don't even know who they are. Have you seen Heated Rivalry?
No, but I'll Google it after this.
It is a guy called Hudson Williams.
Okay, Googling
I feel
Hudson
so
Williams.
nervous just saying that.
Do you love that I just put you on the spot?
Yeah, you did. And it's like...
That's my
job. I mean,
job.
he won't see this, but it's just like...
Oh, I hope Simon Baker does see this.
I don't even know if he's gay. He might be bi. But Connor Story and Hudson Williams were in this show that just came out recently called Heated Rivalry. All the gays know it. It's like these two... It's a series about these 2 ice hockey players that kind of like fall in love, and it's very heated.
It sounds very Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, it's more heated than Brokeback Mountain.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so Simon Baker as the antagonist here in the movie. What did you think of the character? Did you think it was... I mean, he was there for a very specific purpose, you know, in terms of her journey and the relationship with Nate.
But he was also an asshole as well. Like, I understand that you have to have that character, but, like, he was like... What did he say? Like, oh, you're a nice girl. You can't do that job. You'll never survive Miranda. Like, that was a really, like, mean thing to say.
It's interesting that a lot of people really love the fact that she was able to obtain the Harry Potter manuscript, which was just an impossible task. And also,
I love that
I mean,
scene.
can you imagine that would never happen? The industry, you would never be able to get a book before it was published. Never. Not something as big as Harry Potter.
I love it because in that moment when, even though she's had the makeover, so she's made an effort.
Yeah.
People are starting to like her now. Like, she's had all of these, she's starting to really progress. But then she goes over this hurdle of the Harry Potter manuscript, and Miranda being Miranda going, if you don't have the Harry Potter manuscript by then, don't even bother coming back.
But when she says that, she knows that she's not going to be able to do it. Like, 'cause she doesn't think for a second that that's a doable ask.
And then, of course, she goes out on a limb. She uses her networking skills, which is what you do in New York, let's face it.
Yeah, you do.
You go back to who you've networked with in all of these parties, and you go to Christian Thompson, and he gives you, and I just love the delivery of the line when she has the book and she drops it on her desk, and Miranda turns around and goes, 1 copy. What are my twins going to do with that? Share? And he goes, oh no, I made 2 copies and I had them covered, reset, and bound so that they wouldn't look like regular manuscripts. This is just an extra copy to have on file.
It's such a
just
sucker
in
punch.
case. And Miranda goes, well, where are these fabulous copies? I don't see them anywhere. And Andy is already 10 steps ahead and goes, they're with the twins on the train now on the way to Grandma's. And then goes, is there anything else I can do for you?
And she's actually
Miranda's
speechless.
Just like, Like, and I just love that because, like, in that moment, you're like, yes, Andy, that's right.
Because
Prove
it was the undoable ask, you know,
Yes.
which is what I mean.
She's done the undoable.
The unthinkable, that she genuinely thought she wouldn't be able to do it, and then she'd be able to give her that disdainful look and be like, give her the disappointed speech. I'm just so disappointed.
Yes.
You know, and she wasn't able to do that.
She wasn't able to do that.
Not only
she did.
She did it. And it was one of those moments. However, I know that people are gutted that she had to do that by getting Christian. But I like the way you framed it better, rather than, well, I got this hot guy who's after me to do something for me. You framed it more like she networked, she used the skills to get what she needed.
Another scene that I really love, actually, that we haven't spoken about yet much is the scene of Miranda confessing the divorce.
It humanizes the character for a moment. We need that.
Meryl Streep said that she didn't want to wear makeup in that scene because she needed
vulnerable.
To
be vulnerable.
And
yes.
she was completely unfiltered in that, you know, like she just was real and raw and was human. I find it really interesting because she just has no time. She has no time to wallow in her emotions because that's just not who she is. She's running an empire.
There's that shift where Andy's really feeling for her and she's like, is there anything I can do? And all of a sudden she just flips
and she goes,
back into Miranda.
I think something that she says beforehand is she goes, I don't, you know, Rupert Murdoch should cut me a check for the amount of papers that I sell for him. But the truth is, I don't care what anyone writes about me. And then she goes, but the point is, we need to move Snoop Dogg over to my table, blah, blah, blah. And Andy goes...
She flinches. There's a visible moment where she...
Andy's like, Miranda, I'm so sorry. If you want me to cancel your evening, I can. And Miranda Priestley goes, don't be ridiculous. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, not even like why on earth would you do that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to change because of my personal, which is what I feel like people don't do that now. We're very individualistic. We are, you know, we can, but Miranda is like I said before, she's the leader of like this empire, this fashion empire. So she's like, she doesn't think twice about herself, which is actually a very selfless thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't think twice about herself.
She has to hold it all together.
She holds it all together.
The time.
And Andy then goes, is there anything else that I can do for you? And she goes,
your job.
Your job. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's all. It's
Love
so
the
perfect.
catchphase.
And she says that probably 20 times throughout the movie.
Because it's such a, like, it's not, like, it is everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's all, meaning, that's the only thing I need. She's saying that's all.
And sometimes it's like a 10-item list.
It is.
And then that's all. As if like it's just...
It's this tiny
nothing.
little thing.
It's just a trifling little thing. It's nothing. That's all. And I feel like we should all try to channel a little bit more of Miranda Priestley in our lives, actually. Because I feel like the world would be a quieter, more restrained place where you could deliver your sentiments in that way. But, you know, obviously in the world we live in, it's who shouts the loudest. Whereas actually
but even
in this world...
sometimes it's not even the language or the words or the verbiage that she uses. We spoke about Meryl Streep playing this character really subtly when it comes to delivering lines and that kind of thing and the volume and everything. But sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's a look. You know, she tells Emily to do all of these things and, you know, tell Simone at Pier 59 and tell Jocelyn will take Frankie if Maggie isn't available. Did Marcia confirm? Anyway, and then Andy's like, she's got all of these things. She has no idea what to do. She's got all of these things that she's been instructed to do. And then she goes, and Emily? And Andy comes back and she goes, yes. And Miranda just does this.
He looks at the shoes, those big, clunky, horrible
looks
shoes.
Looks back up at her and then goes, that's all. That's all she needed to do. She didn't tell her anything. She just looked at them.
It said very clearly, those shoes are horrendous. Please remove them. And she goes immediately to the Jimmy Choos.
But remember when they do the run-through, it's the same kind of thing. And you hear Stanley Tucci's character talk about it. He goes, Andy goes, does she explain what you think about the run-through? And Nigel goes, in her way. There's a nod, good. 2 nods, very good. There's only been 1 smile on record, and that was Tom Ford in 2002. She doesn't like it, she shakes her head. And then, of course, there's the pursing of the lips, which means, and she goes, absolute. And that means catastrophe.
Catastrophe,
she hated it.
Love that idea that
all you need to do is just to look. Like
just a look of like...
If you were like, if we were gossiping about somebody that I really didn't like, and you were like, so what do you think about this person? And I just do this.
Yeah, and I'd be like...
You'd be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, me too. You know, that's exactly what we need. I actually think there's a lesson in life here of like restraint, but also power, you know?
Yeah.
This was a person that created a character that was extremely powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a Meryl Streep trait, though, because she always creates powerful women. How do you see this in her back catalogue? Do you see this as one of her best roles? And I know you love Meryl, so I'm asking you from an actor perspective.
I think it's one of her 100%. Like, I think it's up there with her top 5. About 10 years ago, I went on a huge, like, I deliberately saw movies that came out in like the 70s and the 80s and the 90s that I didn't grow up with. I deliberately went back and watched those because I just such a huge Meryl Streep fan. But I still haven't seen all of her movies. I do know something for a fact. The most money that she's ever made from a single film was Devil Wears Prada.
Really? So that was the biggest, that was the bank?
Believe she made $10 million.
And
I believe.
And I can kind of
Don't quote me
see
on
it
that.
because this was such, it was a big box office movie.
The film begins where it begins and it ends where it ends because that's the end of Andy's journey with it. Like, she comes into the movie as a total newbie. She has no idea about anything that she's a part of. And she leaves with more of an understanding. Obviously, she doesn't know everything.
Definitely.
But she leaves with more of an idea. But she leaves that world. So that's where the movie ends. You know, it just captures this little sort of window into fashion. And then she leaves, and then that's when the movie ends.
And I think it is a really good introduction to fashion because there's so many brands that are featured and that are spoken about. You know, like Valentino made a guest appearance. So at the gala, they actually have Valentino.
Oh yes, I do remember that.
Yeah,
and she's talking to him,
and she's
right?
talking to him, and it's funny because you know it's Valentino, and you know he's just being himself, but you kind of do believe that she's this fashion editor who you know rules fashion and her say so is what makes or breaks the collection. And then you know you kind of believe that it is real in that moment that Valentino is meeting this fashion editor, not that he's meeting Meryl Streep in a movie and so on. And you know I love that they had Valentino in it. She's actually wearing Valentino custom in that scene as well, which is crucial. You know, she's got that beautiful black dress on. There was a lot of black. Did you notice how so much of a lot of the main costumes were black? Fashion people do tend to wear black. Of course, you and I can't do it anymore because we have 2 cats.
Well, unless you get us like a mega.
I've got the lint rollers all around my house. Like,
I wanted to talk about briefly the importance of detail. The idea of details in that. The world of fashion, just now because we're talking about the industry of fashion, is so hyperfixated on details because you have to be. Yeah. Right?
It's all about details.
It's all
truly.
about the details and how everything, particularly you would know this because you're a stylist, but how certain accessories complement, and it's, you know, you have to be an artist. You have to have the eye for these things. And so I think back to the movie, the part of the movie before the cerulean monologue of she's holding up these 2 belts and she goes, "It's a tough call. They're both so different," which leads Andy to scoff.
Right.
And it's like to Miranda and everyone else in the room, there is a glaring difference
in the belts
between those 2 belts.
But actually, to the viewers as a whole, there is no difference.
There is no difference because they're the same colour.
That's the point.
But it's not about the colour, it's about the buckle.
It's the only moment in the film where we actually truly see her ability as a stylist and for her eye. Because as she's giving the monologue, it's actually an incredibly well-acted scene because she's giving this very important monologue. But she's also styling an outfit while she's doing it. So she's got this flamenco-y tutu-y dress.
Which Andy then, when she first pulls it out, Andy goes like this.
Because she assumes it's going to be a no.
Because it looks ugly it probably does look quite out there on its own.
But
like
then she while she's giving the monologue, styles it out and you see it.
And it actually looks really chic.
And then you realise that Miranda started as an intern somewhere like everybody does and then a stylist and that you see it. You see that she didn't just
the moving parts,
become this editor who
she worked her way up.
She worked her way up
just
because
like everybody else
has the skills,
yeah.
and it's very important that we see that because otherwise she's just this nasty bitch who tells people what to do. We have to understand that she is an expert at what she does, and in that moment we hear it, and we see it
We
at the
see
same
it.
time, which is really important. And you see that kind of the cerulean mix. And you were telling me that she was on, what show was she on last night, wearing the cerulean sweater?
So I don't know if this is going to come out like in the next few weeks or
Yeah.
so, but we filmed this today, and last night Meryl Streep was on the Stephen Colbert show wearing the cerulean sweater.
The
Iconic.
actual one.
Well, I don't know if it's the actual one, but it's
I bet it is, because you know a lot of things
Yeah.
get kept. I know as a
but
collector,
it definitely is a cerulean sweater.
and it's the cable knit, that kind of. It's clever to use that as on a press junket.
Miranda says that lumpy blue sweater. Like, she calls the sweater lumpy.
Lumpy
That lumpy blue
because
sweater.
it makes Anne Hathaway look lumpy. I've read a lot of commentary on the fashion of the movie, and people have said it's the accessories that are so specific to that era. So I mean, like, do you remember when she gifts the friend? Well, actually, I'm like, why are you so ungrateful? Actually, you know, when she turns up and she's got all those freebie gifts, and she gives them to all
Tracy
of her
Thomas,
friends.
who plays
Right.
Lily, her friend. Yeah.
And she gives her a Marc Jacobs bag from 2005.
And she's like, give me.
She's so pretty. And she gives her this Marc Jacobs bag, which at the time was like, I think she says it's $1,900 or something online, which is amazing, but it's so dated now to look at the style of the bag.
It's very 2006.
It's so 2006. And I, as a fashion person watching the movie, I'm constantly reminded of that era. And I found that era quite problematic. And I'll tell you why. We had the 90s. Huge. I mean, think about all the influences from 90s, the fashion. It's back in fashion now.
It is, yeah.
And then we had Y2K, the celebrity era.
I feel like Y2K is what we're seeing now with the baggy jeans.
It is, absolutely.
And the
Crop
oversized
tops,
clothing, the crop
it's
tops.
Spice Girls, All Saints, you know, those bands from back then.
Yeah.
Y2K was a strong celebrity era where, you know, your Paris Hiltons and Nicole Richies were always photographed in these. It was very strong. Then we went out of that into 2006, and it was a bit of a grey area. It was kind of like an era of fashion that's not quite so defined. And I think this movie does define it very well, but it also dates the fashion
Also,
in the movie.
not just the fashion, but the hair. Like, you've met my sister Sophie.
Yeah.
In 2006 and 2007, my sister Sophie, she won't mind me saying this, by the way, she used to rock.
Sorry, Soph.
She used to rock the quiff that Emily Blunt wears.
I still do that sometimes.
Yes, you do.
I
And I've
do
seen
it.
you wear it.
I love it. I love a quiff.
I love the quiff, and you put like the
pins.
hair clip
Yep.
there, and then there's a little quiff there, and that's what Emily Blunt wears in the scene where
That's
she goes.
so funny that Sophie, you're still in fashion, kid. Don't worry. I do that. I still.
I don't know if she does that now, but she used
No,
to.
I do, but I kind of like to wear stuff that isn't in fashion because I like historics. I like looking back and going, that was really cool. 2006.
It's very
was
2006.
very accessory based.
Ballet flats as well, but you don't see that in Devil Wears Prada.
I really struggle with ballet
but
flats.
the ballet, like when I being like a teenager and all of my friends
Huge. It was
around
huge.
2007, 2008, maybe not so much 2006, but like the ballet flats and the leggings.
Well, it was because Kate Moss was wearing them. But here's the thing about that. She's Kate Moss. She has the body that people dream of. Don't do it unless you're her. And I used to do it too. I didn't have the legs for it because Kate Moss has those beautiful, legs with a big hollow, which hardly anyone ever has. It does speak a lot to the fact that 2006, there was a lot of wearable trend. It was more that you could translate that and wear it. And that's why the accessorizing was so big in Devil Wears Prada, because you can get a tweed newsboy cap.
And
you
again,
can
that was
get
so 2006. Like,
so
I just remember
2006.
seeing that.
It was
Keira
it-
Knightley
it was
wearing
it.
that.
Oh, Keira Knightley was always.
She was all about the newsboy cap.
You know, that girl has got that kind of face that she can pull off that. Again, I use this word a lot, the gamine look, the idea of that gorgeous angular face with the newsboy cap. But, the newsboy cap was around before 2006. It's interesting that Pat brought it into the movie because...
I haven't seen it since.
No, I still do them sometimes. The big wide belts, I know there's been a lot of criticism about that in the movie, like, ooh, another belt, but it was very much of that era. Did you love the green coat with the leopard print cuffs
The
and
first
the collar?
one that she wears.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
That, I think, if you asked a lot of people, would be their favourite outfit. That was Prada.
Because it's the
Prada.
first, it's not the first that you see, because the first outfit you see is when she walks in and and the Chanel boots, yes, but it's the start of the montage with Vogue playing by Madonna, and it's the first outfit you see, the green coat, and she's got these gorgeous, feeling so fabulous with these shades, these like sunglasses on, and is like got her handbag, turns around, moves her head, and a car has gone bust, and she's like in a different outfit. Oh,
there's there's one in that montage that I die for, and it's a 3/4 length leather coat in like a camel nude color, and she's wearing it with full on neutrals, which actually was a trend that came in later. And I think the coat was Calvin Klein, and it's beautiful. And then the bag. That bag that she wore, the very sort of square-shaped bag with the hole, and then it had fringes on it. It was used in the movie a few times. Pat Field designed it. She was asked to design a bag for the movie, and she designed that one.
Wasn't that supposed to be designed by one of the designers in the movie?
Yes,
or am I thinking of a different
no, you're
bag?
completely correct. It was the guy who played...
The guy is like, who designed that thing? And she goes, you.
And I was thinking, no, Pat did. And it was, it was exactly right. She designed it. That went on to sell so many. I mean, that was a big trend. I think that the movie was influential on many counts. Fashion, yes. Character development, yes.
Oh, 100%.
We see a complete...
I love The Devil Wears Prada so much, not just for the fashion and the memes and the characters, but for the story. It's an interesting story. It's, like I said, I love, when I was chatting to you about how when I was a kid, I was very, like, pro-Andy, anti-Miranda, and now I'm, like, polar opposite.
I'm the same, too.
I'm pro-Miranda, and I'm glad that... I mean, you do follow along Andy as the protagonist. She learns her lesson. She learns it as the film goes on, she progresses, and, but...
Gonna go see it.
I do love, just to end, I love all of the memes that... Devil Wears Prada has given to us over the years. You guys know that show on Netflix, like Emily in Paris, and it's had a lot of, people that love it, but also a lot of criticism as well of trying to be like the new Sex and the City or the new Devil Wears Prada or whatever. But I love the meme of, this is the only Emily that deserves to be in Paris. And it's a picture of Emily Blunt in Devil Wears Prada. And I'm like, she does deserve to be in Paris.
Thank God they got...
worked for it.
Thank God they got the 4 original actors to come back to it. Because it's not the same if you don't have them. And they all look bloody fabulous as well. I can't wait to see it. So what we're going to do is we are going to go watch the movie. And then we're going to do a part 2 to this, aren't we?
Are we?
Oh, yeah, of course we are.
I'm so excited.
I'll bring wine. It's fine.
Of course.
We're going to watch the movie and we're going to do a second part where we talk about Devil Wears Prada too, because I'm pretty sure there's lots. And I will finish on saying this. Do you know how much stick the movie, the preview has got? Because in it, Meryl Streep wears Valentino rock stud heels. Red rock studs.
I think I did see that.
This probably doesn't mean anything to you, but in fashion, people are now like, oh, the rock stud, it's au passé, like it's gone. And the fact that she's wearing them in the new people have been like, what? Like people are seeing that as a symbol of like, that's where we were. You know what?
It's symbolic.
It's symbolic also of, they're saying that that's a kind of entry level fashion thing that people who aren't really in fashion buy. We'll talk about this more when we talk about the new movie, but so much stick has been levied at that being like, why would Miranda Priestley be wearing Valentino rock studs? Well, we don't know. But we'll find out the answers, won't we?
Yeah.
And I think that's a wrap on our Devil Wears Prada. I think we hashed that one out. And all I have to say is, that's all.
That's all.
Thank you for watching. Join us again on the next episode where we will have something entirely iconic for you. Thank you.
We chase the